Hi, I'm Jane Dunnewold, and we are introducing a new Thermofax service through my studio. We've had a lot of questions about it, so we thought we'd get together, Zen and myself, and film a little clip that goes over some of the most basic information you need in case you're interested in joining us in this exciting kind of new endeavor. We are surrounded, each of us, by objects in our homes and by plants in the out of doors and by the textures in the house, texture on the street. All of those visuals are an opportunity to create designs or capture designs that can then be turned into a simple Thermofax tool and printed on a multitude of surfaces. Part of the problem is that we don't all have, some people have Photoshop ability, I certainly don't. And so up until recently, my ability to turn designs that I saw in the world around me into the usable screen was limited. It was limited partly because, for instance, this picture of the dandelion is a beautiful picture, but it's not going to be really easy for me to turn this into a screen, partly because of the black background and partly because of the detail in the dandelion. If I put this on a photocopier and just made a regular copy of it or put it on my printer, I'd still have the issue of how to deal with these two very particular kinds of issues with this particular image. But because of the miracles of Photoshop, I can pass this off to Wayne, which is what will happen if you send your images to us. He'll put it in Photoshop, easily drop out the background, clean up the design, and then make sure that detail is perfect so that it becomes an image like this, which is then really easy to translate into a Thermofax. So we use the miracle of our Thermofax machine, and before you know it, you're opening an envelope addressed to you at your home, and you are going to have a collection of screens made from the designs that you most want to be able to print. I've got my dandelion here, and I thought rather than just talk about how the process works from a picture to the screen, maybe it would also be fun to revisit it's important to know how to print the screen properly and how to care for the screen. So I'd like to talk about that for a little bit. This particular Thermofax film is a plastic that's laminated to a polyester surface. And when you get your screens from us, it will say top. Won't look like this in my handwriting, but you'll have a nice little label that says top, and it's there for a reason. It's there so that when you put the screen down on whatever surface you're planning to print, you know to keep that little sticker that says top facing you, because that will protect the screen so that it will last a really long time. If you accidentally turn the screen over and you print on the plastic side, or what we think of as the back of the screen, it would be all right for a few passes. You're not going to really hurt it, but over time the squeegee pressure will strip the plastic away, and then the screen won't be as long lasting. So you want to make sure when you're printing you have top facing you so that you can read it. Now I'm going to print on some black fabric here using a white opaque paint, and then I'm going to show you a few samples of the other kinds of projects that you can set for yourself using your screens. Now I'm putting white textile paint on the screen, but there are a lot of different choices where the paint is concerned. And one of the tips is to get the right squeegee. These little squeegees, you could use a credit card. Think about the scale here. You don't really want a big squeegee like we sometimes have if we're doing other craft applications. The idea is to print this with as few passes as possible, because if I keep working this and pushing the paint around, I won't have a clear image. See how beautiful that is? Now let me show you what can happen if I overdo it. Sometimes people think there's something wrong with the screen, but there's really nothing wrong with the screen. It's because whoever was printing didn't understand the printing method and didn't realize that a couple of passes is enough in order to print a nice clean print. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, and if I was superimposing another image that might work, but ideally this is what we want from a screen with this sort of detail. Now, take a look at this and you can see the difference between the one on my right, which was the one as close as I could get to one pass with that squeegee that I had, and the one on the left, which is basically it's overprinted. We'll put pictures of this up so that you can look at them again in detail if you'd like to. And I'm not saying that the way that this looks on the left is isn't acceptable. I'm just saying this is the difference that can happen based on learning how many times to pull that squeegee across the print. You want to be really careful if you decide that you'd like to order some screens with detail. You want to be careful that you learn how to print them properly so that you're not disappointed, because sometimes it's not the screen's fault, it's operator error. Okay, I'd like to show you a few of the other projects that I did using this image. I have a lot of friends with December and November birthdays, so I've been working on, now they're going to know. I've been working on a series of pillowcases. I just love these beautiful Egyptian cotton pillowcases, and I've added the dandelion kind of scattered across the surface on those, which I think probably the friend I have in mind is going to be very happy with them, whether she sees this in advance or not. And around here, lately we've had babies on the brain, so I did some onesies, and this is, of course, the dandelion used 3 different ways. And in this case, I put white paint down and pink paint on the same screen and screened them at the same time in order to get that sort of mixed color. And then, although I love the dandelion, I didn't want to put it on everything, so I drew a leaf pattern and I put that on this little onesie. I think that one's cute. And I've also done some ink drawings in the past, and this is one of my favorite heart designs. And that just points out another aspect of this service, is that if you have designs that you've drawn, or designs, any way you can make a design, you can turn it into a Thermofax. So in addition to the photos and the use of the Photoshop service, we're always happy to take line drawings that you've made or textures that you've created. Sometimes those have a little bit of background or a little bit of visual interference, so to speak, that needs to be dropped out, and we can do all of that. I have another screen, couple of screens that I really love. This one's based on a photograph of a piece of tie weaving, and I printed it on this little mat, and I'm going to find a nice photograph and use the mat for it. And here's another one that mimics rock. These are designs that are available in our library, where we actually have over 200 designs. So you may be looking around and thinking about the sorts of designs that you can make from your own stuff, but on the other hand, we have some gorgeous images that we're happy to share. We love to share. This would make a great gift for the holidays or for a birthday. This was just a basic plain journal. Picked it up for around $6, and I screened my textile design in the background first, and then I added the dandelion. And this is a 2-part process. First, I printed the dandelion with the white paint, and then after it was all dry, I went back and printed the dandelion slightly offset using gel medium, which is another art supply product. And when the gel medium dried, then I put a piece of gold leaf down on top of this and ironed over it a little bit with the iron. I show how to do this process in one of the 10 YouTube videos that are all about Thermofax variations on the theme. They're 5 or 10 minute clips. They're fun to watch, at least I hope they are. Try to be entertaining as much as I can be. And those are at our new channel, Jane Dunnewold Studios. So if you're excited about the idea of the Thermofax, you can go there and find out all kinds of ways to discharge and to add sand to images and to add gold leaf to images. And I would say, as soon as you get the screens that you've ordered, you're going to be set making gifts and making art and going crazy. You could Thermofax on the wall if you wanted to. I'd love to know what you're doing with them, so please stay in touch with me. You can email me at dunnewoldj@complexcloth.com. Thanks.